Bonnie, good morning.
Good morning.
Buying or selling in the winter time, it can present some challenges sometimes, huh?
Yep, it shifts the gears a little bit, and there's some different things that both buyers and sellers need to consider with the market.
You want to start with the buyer or the seller first?
Let's talk about the seller.
Okay. What are some things that those sellers need to keep in mind?
Well, one of the things I will just start with is that in Minnesota it is dark. I mean, not only is it getting darker earlier, but we also have, those gray skies that we have, 2-3 weeks where the sun's just not out. And, one of my suggestions when people are looking at showing their home, whether it be during the day or evening, is get your lights on.
Yeah.
Make it
welcome.
Yes, make sure that those lights are on, because you're not going to get as much natural light that's out there, and that's real simple. And some people would do that anyway, but some people might not be hearing that from their agent. So I would say that that's important.
And a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Christmas lights, and my gosh, have that place lit up so people want to come see.
Yep. Have it festive. Have it exciting when people show up there. Outside lights. I mean, it's kind of the, area wide, like, here's your welcome, whether it's day or night, to have that front light on at least, right? We're here, we're home, we're ready for you.
Now, in the summertime, the lawns are going to look like $1 million. Everything's going to be trimmed up nice and all of that stuff. But what about the snow removal?
Yeah, well, that is a big deal, because, there's going to be two concepts with that, I guess, to really address. One would be have your snow removal done and ready when people are showing up there, and have things so that they aren't slippery and it's safe for people. Probably one of the bigger challenges that we run into in this industry is that when homes are vacant, like let's say you're selling a house for somebody that's gone, make sure you have that lined up and are paying attention to when those showings are, so that people aren't trudging through a foot of snow.
Yeah, but even if, let's face it, when you're showing your house, or when your house is listed for sale and you're still living there, there's 1,000,001 things that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It might not be the worst idea to the neighbor kid or the neighbor dad or somebody, hire them to make sure. It's one less thing you have to worry about.
Well, absolutely. And and at that point you're having people, walk through your yard. They're not as familiar with, which side of the house gets sun and which doesn't, and where the ice might lie. You just want to really make sure you're getting that stuff cleared out.
More thing that you just don't have to worry about, right? Because you got 1,000,000 other things going on. Let me ask you this. I have a fireplace. How important is it that that fireplace is lit and ready to go?
I think it's really important, not just the fireplace, but the heat in general. People are coming in from the cold. You want it to feel welcoming from that perspective, but there is nothing better when people have a real fireplace and that is on or lit or ready to go and lit up, and that smell when you walk in.
Sure.
I mean, that is a draw, specifically for homes that people would want that as an additional aesthetic and heat source. But yeah, those gas fireplaces, electric fireplaces, they set off a different lighting in different rooms, and it's a different vibe. So absolutely get that stuff going.
What's going to make me want to say yes is if there's a freshly baked plate of Christmas cookies, the aroma and the flavor right there.
Oh, for sure. So and I love when sellers ask, is when you're doing an open house, they're like, do you want us to bake some cookies? And I'm like, always yes, but please don't leave them there for me to eat.
True enough.
Right.
Okay, what about buyers? What do we need to keep in mind?
Well, buyers is a little bit of a different thing that I'd like to talk about with that, and that is relative more to when you're viewing, and then eventually if you're purchasing and inspecting a property, there's going to be limitations to what you can all see.
Okay.
Right? So one would be the yard. I mean, that's a simple one, and you kind of think, oh, well, there's grass under there. Well, we all know from the different homes that we've had, the condition of the yard can vary, and if it's buried under snow and you don't have an example of what it looked like before, you might be redoing a yard.
Heidi, think about the road ditches in the springtime, right? We see all that yuck that people have thrown out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen when all the snow melts in your brand new yard.
Exactly. So the yard is a thing, but you get an inspector to go there, and if there's 2 inches of snow on the roof, they're not going on that roof.
Right.
So you're not going to have a visual inspection of that roof. And the best thing that you can do is do research and ask questions.
Okay.
And some of that would be, getting a hold of the city, seeing when the last permit was, reviewing the disclosures with extra care, but just outright asking questions to kind of mitigate your risk.
Yeah, because you have to think about things like how old is that furnace? Has it been maintained?
Yeah.
All of these questions.
Yeah, and the heat will be on,
Yeah.
but the air conditioning you're not running.
True.
So your AC is going to be another one of those items where you're going to say, okay, well, when was it last serviced, and how old it is, and all those things. And you're never going to be completely foul-proof,
Right.
but you don't want to miss out on some of those things that aren't evident because of the weather, and make sure that you're asking the right questions.
I would imagine that if we're working with you at VoigtJohnson Real Estate, you would sit down with us and talk about some of these questions, some of the concerns that you have to think about.
Oh, definitely. And I think that, almost any agent that is at our office, when we're going through homes, and I'll just flat out tell people, I'm like, okay, you guys go and see if you like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for all the things that are not, fun to look at. I'm
Sure.
going to look at the furnace. I'm going to look at, the ceilings to see if there's evidence of water. Making sure that we're looking at dates on things.
How much air is coming through the windows?
Yeah, those fun things. Yeah. So
Crazy.
But yeah, so that is part of our job, but the attention to some of those things shifts when you're in a different weather pattern.
Yeah, very good. Heidi, how do we work with you at VoigtJohnson Real
You
Estate?
can give us a call anytime at 320-774-2400, or check out our website, VoigtJohnson.com. Great gallery of agents there for you.
Merry Christmas, Heidi.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Thank you.